don't kill yourself over a trend. Don't kill yourself over people saying that is actually healthy for you to be unhealthy.
Welcome back to the Dangerous Women podcast. I'm your host, Colleen Conlon, and I'm really excited because today I have a super special guest who is on the podcast. She is the producer of the Dangerous Women podcast. She is also a kettlebell client of mine who is going to give you a very interesting perspective on her journey to becoming a kettlebell queen, which I'm so excited to talk with you about today. So without further ado, I will be introducing you to Rubi Skilton. Rubi, welcome to the podcast. Thank you for being here today.
Pauline, I'm so excited to be here.
So, can you tell us what it is to be an adaptive athlete?
Yeah, it's fun as hell because when you're at the gym, people stare at you and it's really cool. But I don't think that was the actual question that you wanted. So, do you mean what is it struggle wise or?
Okay, we need to rewind. You have a limb difference,
Yes.
and I would love for people to know what that means.
Okay. So, limb difference is a little different for everyone, of course. For me in particular, that means that I was born, I say, with an arm and a half. So my right arm is fully able, with the exception of I have 4 fingers versus 5. And my left arm cuts right off at the elbow. And then it's technically called a club arm because it like bends in. So I have that, and then I have mild scoliosis at the bottom of my back. And recently-ish, I found out I am missing like a rib on each side or something like that, which is really interesting. But yeah, that is my difference and what identifies me as a adaptive athlete. I like that. It makes me feel like I'm an athlete.
You are an athlete. I really do believe everybody is an athlete. You might just not have had an opportunity to tap into your inner athlete if you don't
Mm,
identify with that. But what I would love to tell everybody is Ruby is actually the first adaptive athlete I have had the privilege of working with. And when she first came to me asking if I would train her, at first I was like, this sounds awesome, but I've actually never done this before. So I don't know if you want to go on this journey with me. But if you are willing to go on this journey with me, I will do my darndest to reach out to everyone that I know who has worked with other clients in similar situations so that I can show up for you to the best of my ability.
yeah. And you've been incredible. Honestly, I feel like you've taken, I don't even want to say the challenge, but this opportunity and really excelled at any expectation that I would have had on being trained by you or just being trained at kettlebells in general. And it's been such an awesome journey. Like, it's been so phenomenal because you don't let me get away with shit, Colleen. Like, you push me, and I thought I pushed myself, and you pushed me just even a little bit more. And it's really cool. And I feel like you're someone that not only I respect as a trainer, but as a person and as a friend, that I feel like I could tell you, yeah, I did not get that workout in. Or, yeah, no, I did, but it wasn't as good. Like I have that confidence in being like, I can tell her that I'm being a fucking lazy ass right now. And also, I could tell her, like, that was a really great workout. So it's really cool because I haven't felt the need to ghost.
Yeah, I think it's possible that just the relationship dynamic between coach and client can bring about a lot of different feelings and emotions to want to show up or not show up. And I mean, even in
Hmm.
working with you, Ruby, I mean, something that I have to say is that the energy that you bring to our sessions is always something that I'm very excited about.
Mm.
So, if you've never worked with kettlebells before, and if you have worked with kettlebells before, you know that the beginning, in order to do exercises like cheat cleans or swings,
That's
there's
my
a
fave.
lot there's a lot going on from the mind body connection, and it can be really frustrating to see, oh, it's not as easy as it looks. And
Hmm.
something that's been really cool with you, Ruby, is how open minded you are, how much of a growth mindset you have, where, if it's not perfect day one, you're not defeated. Like, you're just, okay, what next? Okay, I'm
Right.
ready to do it again. Okay, what can I do better?
Yeah.
And, that's not always the case with everyone. And I think one of the reasons why I would bet my money on you at becoming a kettlebell queen is because you have that mindset already. And that's not something that everybody has. And I think sometimes when people, oh gosh, I remember explaining what a growth mindset was in a call this past year to some women in this low ticket offer. What did I call it? Unstoppable. And I think it made some people walk away with ruffled feathers because I think a lot of people are stuck in a fixed mindset.
Yeah.
And, if you're not open, you're not going to be able to make progress. If you think, well, I've never been strong before, so it's just not possible for me, you've already failed before you even fucking
Hmm.
tried. And
Yeah.
what's so cool about you, especially, with your limb difference, is the fact that it's not stopping you. Guys, Ruby doesn't have two hands at the same length where she can just hold on to that bloody kettlebell and swing it and learn to use it like maybe you have. We're figuring it out together, where she has a purple strap that she ties on the kettlebell and she holds onto, and she's able to swing the fucking kettlebell.
It's
So,
so cool.
and I think one of the reasons why you're able to make this progress is because you have the willingness, you have
Mhm.
the want to try, and if it doesn't really work, we pivot to something else. And
Yeah.
that's not something that everybody just has, and when you don't have that, it definitely makes the situation harder, and not just for you but even like for your coach. So you
Hmm.
know what allows you to be so willing to try something new and different?
So anytime I love this question so much because it gets me to go back to the way I was raised. And it really started there. And I'm in this group with parents that are parents of kids with physical differences, and they're always asking questions. And I always go back to the way I'm going to answer this question of it starts at home. Ever since I was little, I would do gymnastics, I would do basketball, I did cheerleading. Like, I did all these different sports because my mom never put limitations on me. She always said, whatever you want to do, go out and try it. And if you need help, I'm here to help you, but I'm not here to baby you. And anytime I would try to be like, well, I need help tying my shoes because I only have one arm, she's like, no, like I taught you how to tie your shoes. You know how to do this. So she was rough on me in a sense of like she knew when I was being just like, I don't want to do it, and like almost victim mentality versus actually, hey, no, I need your support. And so that really taught me one, I get to try anything and everything I desire. Two, I get to accomplish and do anything and everything I desire. And if I need help along the way, I get to ask for that support in ways that I could tell you this is exactly what I need.
Mm.
And so when we started working together, Colleen, I remember you telling me something like, let me know what you can and can't do. And I was like, oh, I'll let you know, but I'm going to try every single thing that you tell me because that's how I was raised. It wasn't that I was going to get everything right away. Of course not. But I would figure out a way to make it work. And if I, there's only one thing that till this day, I can do, and I figured out how to do it, but it's just a pain in the ass to do. So I just get Kyle to help me, and that's to pick up my hair, to do like a ponytail. Or he's laughing in the background because he knows this is so true. But I learned how to do it even by myself, but it's just like getting on a couch or like on a bed and like tilting my head back. And it's just like a whole ass process that it's just easier for me to be like, here, do it for me. But that is the only thing that I've tried and have not been able to get, not even right away, but pretty consistently. And so whether it was kettlebells this time around, or whether it was opening a studio or starting my business or getting up on stages and talking, it was never a question of can I do it? It was just a question of like, how am I going to do it? How am I going to figure it out?
I think that's incredible. And I mean, the fact that that was the mom that you got to grow up with,
Phenomenal.
what a gift.
Absolutely.
I mean, I even see it sometimes parents just enabling kids, doing things
Yes,
for them. And it's your child is so capable of doing these things. Why are you doing it for them? Like, how's that going to
absolutely. It's not.
help them? It's not
It's
helping
not.
them.
It's not. And one of the biggest things was that my mom never put her fears onto me. She was never like, oh, you can't do this. You're not going to be. She would be like, try, fall on your ass, and I'll be here to pick you up. You're fine. Yeah, it's
I,
amazing.
I think you need that. I think when somebody just takes the reins too much, it can be really negative. I mean, there were
Hmm.
so many times like growing up where I probably went to school looking like such a dumbass because like I thought I like knew how to put an outfit together. I thought I knew how to like brush my hair. I thought I knew how to do my makeup and I looked crazy. But I'm so glad my mom never tried to stop me or do it
Hmm.
for me because it taught me how to be self-sufficient. It taught me how to take care of myself and oh, we don't like this reaction. Okay, well, I guess we need to do something
Right.
differently next time, but that's not something on her. I need to figure out how to do these things for myself.
Exactly. Exactly. And I'm so grateful for her because I apply that till this day. I wouldn't have a business if it wasn't for that mindset.
So cool.
Yeah.
So, something that I would love to share with the listeners is why you are training with me and
Mhm.
kettlebells. Can you tell us some of the goals that you have in terms of
Yes.
strength training?
Of course. So when it comes to my relationship with the gym and health and like training in general, I love feeling strong. And that's why I love weights. Like I just think they're the coolest thing. Plus being in a gym and walking up to where it's just a bunch of big guys and grabbing some weights and they're just like, I need like that's it. And then they notice that I have a physical difference and they're even more, what the fuck? And it's amazing. But the reason I started training with you was I was in a really interesting part of my life where I had just got in the studio and I was like about to turn 29, and just so many pieces of my life were like going in the right direction, but I was noticing my mental health and my self-confidence really starting to decline, and quickly at that. And I was like, yeah, this is not how it's going to work. How can myself is going this way and my career is going this way? Something's going to give. And most of the time it's what's going right that gives first and goes wrong in my experience. And so I was like, okay, I obviously need support in this. And you wanted to start your podcast back up, so it just worked out that we were able to do a cool thing. But my goals with kettlebells is really finding my strength again and realizing what I'm capable of. But my overall goal is to get healthy, to lose weight, and to be in a freaking competition. Colleen, I don't think I can't even put it into words how much I want and crave to have a super toned, muscular body. I just want abs. That's all I want. And some cool toned arms.
Why?
I've always thought it looks so hot. I just think it looks so, so amazing. And I don't know, I've always loved that look of a woman with the coolest body. And it's crazy because I feel like that got so in style kind of recently of toned women, but it's not even about the trends. I just think that looks so, so beautiful. And I know I'm a strong person, but if my body could also externally show how strong I am, bitch, I'd be unstoppable. What the hell? Like, what?
I think the female figure is one of the most gorgeous
Yes.
things. So I have a little hobby of drawing. I have a little sketch pad from Amazon, and
Cute.
I draw naked women.
I love that. I need to see that because I did not know that fact about you.
I love naked women. I actually, underneath my microphone is a picture from one of my first coaches. And it's just like this abstract picture of naked women. I just think the female form is one of the most beautiful things. And I saw it somewhere where the two the two types of pictures that are captured the most in the
Mhm.
world are number one, the moon, and number two, the female body.
Really?
Yeah, and I think
I
that's
would
also
think
interesting.
pets.
No, it's the moon and it's the female figure. And I think it's funny because they're both like it's feminine
It's
energy,
feminine, yeah.
right? But something that I love about you is, saying, yeah, I want this toned hot body and I want the weight loss without being like, I mean, this would be kind of cool. Like the amount of women who have said to me, I want to lose weight, but maybe like I shouldn't lose weight. I'm just like, when did this become like a thing that we are like embarrassed to say that we want? And I think one of the reasons some women are like self conscious to talk about, yeah, I want to lose weight is because of body positivity.
Oh, that's a whole top my favorite thing to talk about.
Well, the floor is yours. What are your thoughts on body positivity?
I think in theory, I see where they were trying to go with it, and they completely fucking missed the mark. They completely missed the mark. Because I'm someone that preaches self-love a lot, and I think self-love is the key to almost everything, if not everything in life. But when the body positivity community started coming up, it started being more of we hate diet culture, we hate skinny women, we hate the thought of wanting to lose weight, we hate the thought of like you wanting to be healthier. And if you're not fat, you're not positive. And that is such an unhealthy fucking take because now those people that were preaching body positivity have either lost weight because they realized how unhealthy that is, or two, they're dead. And what
Mm,
happens is these people that looked up to them don't see the behind the scenes. Social media is such a highlight reel that, yes, these women in particular would go on there and be like, I am 300 pounds and extremely happy, and fuck anyone that thinks I'm not happy and healthy because you don't know my life. And but are you? When the camera turns off, are you happy? I can guarantee you they're not, because what happens is later down the line, those same women that are not dead yet have come on and been like, I was actually miserable. So what is it? Like, how can you be preaching something that's at the end of the day harming people, killing people to become famous? That's never sat right with me. And I think that the whole concept of body positivity is absolute shit. It makes no one feel good. It's not making the skinny girls feel good. It's not making the medium-sized girls feel good because now they feel like, well, I'm not big enough to be in this community, but I'm not skinny enough to be like considered thin or healthy or whatever. The bigger girls that are part of this community, they might get this false hope of, oh my God, I get to love myself and I get to be happy. And I'm not saying don't love yourself, but what I'm saying is don't kill yourself over a trend. Don't kill yourself over people saying that is actually healthy for you to be unhealthy.
yeah.
And I don't think it's not like I could look at someone and be like, oh, you're healthy because you're thin. I don't know what's going on in their life, but that community is so toxic in the sense that they do judge based on physical appearance. even though I'm pretty sure it started with everyone is welcomed.
Yeah,
Mm.
we got to talk a little bit about that in one of our sessions, and I was curious because I've never been a part of the bigger girl community. I've never been there to see, well, how many other women feel that way? So I went to threads asking, have you ever been a part of the body positivity community and felt like you were no longer accepted if you wanted to maybe lose the weight? And I got a bunch of women who responded back, and it seemed like I was accepted by this community until I wanted to do something healthier, and now I'm no longer
Mhm.
accepted, which really just seemed kind of fucked up. And I think it's complicated. I think it's a little bit complicated, but what I will say is I believe any woman is capable of loving herself regardless of her size. And you are more than welcome to change the size and the shape of your body because this is your only body. Like, you need to live in a body that you are happy in. And it's okay to want to change that, but you can't change it out of hate. You have to learn how to love yourself. And I don't necessarily think you learn how to love yourself by the number that you weigh on the scale or what size jeans you fit in. I think that's like a mental health thing.
Mhm.
And I do have a theory, which I've shared with a couple of people. And when I talk about this with Tim, he's always just like, be careful the words that you choose to use because some people might take this the wrong way. So hopefully I am saying this in a clear way today, but I really do believe that if you are severely overweight and you got there kind of quickly, there is something going on from a mental health standpoint that needs support. I think there's certain situations where it's, you have one of those rare diseases
Mhm.
and it's okay, I get it, I get it. I hear that and I
Yeah.
understand it, that you're not who I'm talking to. I think there are some people where it comes down to it's a cultural thing, or you grew up in a family, everybody's overweight, you just don't know the strategies, you don't have the
Yeah.
right information, you don't know what to do. And yeah, you do have a responsibility to seek that stuff for yourself so you can make a difference. I think there's some people where it's, well, when I was 30, I didn't have all this weight, but over the next 30 years, I slowly started to accumulate it. And I'm not really so concerned with you. It sounds like you don't have the healthiest habits necessarily, like maybe those extra two cocktails, the extra fries, the extra, whatever. It slowly starts to add up, but I'm not like super concerned about you if you're in your 60s and it's like now you're overweight.
Right.
But those of you who it's like, I just gained 100 pounds in a year or in a couple of years and you're 30, I'm concerned about your mental health
Yeah. Oh yeah.
because something is going on that made you go for all the food, that made you stop caring about your physical health. And I think it's great to start taking the steps, making different food choices, making different exercise choices. But I don't think all of your problems are going to go away just by losing the weight. I think you have to do that mental health work. And that's why at one point in time, Ruby, oh my gosh, this is probably going to be the clip that you end up pulling. But I was
Mhm.
like, fat people need to go to therapy. And Tim was like, don't say that, you're going to get canceled.
No, it's true. It's true. And this is coming from someone that's consider I am overweight, bro. You know this, Colleen. And it is so true. And you know what I've noticed? Well, first of all, don't be concerned about being canceled. Everyone gets canceled and they're fine. Stand your ground. But I noticed that my dad passed away in 2020, December 2020. I kind of numbed that shit out. And for 2 years, I was eating like shit. I was drinking. I was going out you would have thought I was like in my Jersey Shore era. It was fucking wild. That did not catch up to me till this past year. It wasn't until when we talked that I was like, oh, it's not that I'm currently declining, is that those 2 years are finally catching up. Those 2 years when I was deep in it, I fucking love myself. I was co-hosting retreats. I was co-hosting meditation sessions. And I was like, oh my God, I'm like so good and I'm like loving myself. But I was so deep in the shit that I didn't realize it. that when I realized, holy shit, I remember looking back in 2020 going into 2024. No, 2022 going into 2023, something like that. I remember looking on New Year's at my pictures and I was like, this is such a fun year. And I'm like, I was either drunk, blacked out, or about to be blanked out in every single picture. And I was like, what the fuck? I cannot go on like this. My business will suffer everything, my relation, everything. So I went sober for 9 months, fully sober. And then I was like slowly coming back and out of it. But the point is, those years didn't catch up to me till 2024. Again, I'm thinking this whole time, this is the funnest year of my life. This is the healthiest I've been. I got TRX certified at the time. And I think that's the thing in body positivity too, in that community, that they're so in it that they don't realize the damage that's actually happening.
Strong, lean, fierce from the inside out. Kettlebells transformed me, not just physically, but emotionally and mentally. They took me from surviving to thriving, and now I'm here to help you do the same. Whether you're a 30 something or 70 something year old woman, strength training is going to be gold for you as you continue moving forward on your fitness journey. And my virtual kettlebell training programs are designed just for you. No gym needed, no fluff, just results. Since 2020, I've helped women across the globe virtually build strong, lean bodies from the comfort of their living room. My mission is to help you meet the version of yourself that you've always dreamed of, the woman you were destined to be. I want to help you find your fierce. Here's what I have to offer: progressive strength training programs designed to help you build muscle, drop body fat, and feel more confident every single day with a kettlebell. I also offer private virtual training. Get one-on-one coaching with me to perfect your form, progress faster, and crush your personal goals. And the best part about pairing with me is my powerful community. We're here to support your transformation because I believe that to go far, you have to go with a team by your side. The only thing standing between you and your transformation at this point is one decision. Are you ready to feel fierce, unstoppable, and unapologetically you? If yes, visit www.colleenconlon.com and see what offers make the most sense for where you are at today. When my book came out, I think it was 2021 that it came out.
Mhm.
And I want to say, I believe it was 2021 that came out because Black Lives Matter. It wasn't that prime, but it was like we still have a lot of heat from everything
Mm.
from what was going on the prior year. My book came out. I have a kettlebell book. For those of you who don't know, it's called Kettlebell Catalyst.
It is tagged
And
in
it
the
is
show notes. Just
it's tagged
saying.
in the and it talks about, how do you use kettlebells, but it also mentions this is a way that you can build strength, you can build lean muscle mass. And this woman, Black, overweight, and I bring that up because then I started to do my research on, well, where did the body positivity community start?
Where did it start?
Back in the 60s and predominantly with overweight Black women.
Interesting. Okay.
But the other thing I will say on the body positivity note, because I read a book recently I was telling you about, talking about body positivity, there is so much more that goes into body positivity than just talking about weight, skin color, your hair, pubic hair on your legs, right? So I can't say, all of body positivity started right then and there, because in that book that I was reading,
Yeah.
they talk more about different stuff culturally,
Mhm.
different places, different timelines. But this woman came fucking hard at me on Instagram,
Oh.
telling me that I'm the problem with society. Me pushing at women, let's lose weight, let's be small. And it's just, oh my
Mhm.
gosh, this isn't what I'm. What? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Ruby, I literally remember just sitting there and crying to Tim, thinking, oh my gosh, am I actually the problem? Am I actually hurting women?
Mhm.
Am I doing a bad thing? I thought I was doing a really good thing.
Yeah.
I thought I was empowering women. Am I not? And what I realized is No, I'm not the fucking problem. I'm doing something really good. I will tell you this, and I firmly believe this. I believe beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Absolutely.
And I believe there are so many different women who look completely different that are beautiful. And I
Hmm.
think depending on what part of the world you are in, depending on who you ask, everybody is
Yeah.
going to think, she's the most beautiful, she's the most beautiful, she's the most beautiful. But when it comes to health, being fat is not fucking healthy.
Okay.
Muscle and lean mass is healthy. And even
Hmm.
on the opposite end of the spectrum, we were talking on Ruby's podcast, we were talking about body recomp, and we're talking,
Yeah.
Ruby wants to do a competition, and I'm getting like the bodybuilder vibes, and I'm like thinking bodybuild. It's also possible to be too lean
Yeah.
and to have too little body fat percentage for too long. I'm not telling people you need to be the leanest, the lowest body fat possible for life. That's what we're all fighting for. No, I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is we do have the science showing this is going to be healthier than that. And if we look back in history, like survival of the fittest, do you think cave people were fat?
Probably not, girl.
I don't think so.
So, question for you. Do you think healthy looks different on everyone?
I think I think if we look at different pockets of the world to an extent,
Tell me more.
like the body types that we are going to see from Scandinavians
Mm.
versus like Asian culture versus like in the Amazon, it's all going to look kind of different. And I'm not
Hmm.
going to say like one is superior to the
Yeah.
other. But what I am saying is if we look at, there's so many ways that we can judge this
Hmm.
in terms of, are we basing healthy off of, being able to perform a mile in X amount of time or lifting a
Mm.
particular weight in X amount of time? Are we looking at body fat percentages? If we look at body fat percentage, we have essential body fat, we have the category of elite, then we have athlete, then we have, which recently got turned to acceptable, and then we jump right to obese.
Huh?
Yeah. So
What?
average acceptable, I think, is America's nice way of saying fat without wanting to call people fat because apparently
Can we
fat is,
stop being sensitive, please? It's so fucking annoying.
you know what I think? I think if you get triggered by the word fat, maybe
It's because you
you
are fat.
you are fat and you don't want to feel bad and it's well, then go do something about it. Or
And it's crazy because it's literally it describes something. It's calling you're blonde and you being like, that's offensive. Like, why would you call me blonde?
it's so bad though because I've gone into Chat GPT because I was working with a business coach earlier this year and she was like, you need to be more specific about like the things that you do. And I think for
Mm.
me, when that woman was like, you're the problem, I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to talk about, fat loss. I'm not going to talk about aesthetics or anything on my page. And I went to this business coach. I was like, yeah, I need help, getting leads and stuff. And she was like, well, what do you do? And I was like, well, I help women get strong and I help them change their bodies. And she was like, do you help women lose fat? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, well, why don't you like actually talk about that? And I was like, I don't know. I don't want to like upset anyone. And I started using the word squishy. And I was in this group and some of the women were like, well, kind of feel like one of the women that you're talking to. I feel kind of like Pillsbury Doughboy. So I started using that. And then I
Yeah.
had this uproar from a former client who was like, I feel triggered that you are using these words. And, I don't like that you called so and so squishy. This is triggering and I can't follow you anymore. And I remember thinking to myself, I don't think you've like ever been in a bigger body. Maybe you have, but to my understanding, you've always been really small. So I don't necessarily know why this is so triggering to you. But in that case, maybe you need to go do some mental health work on it.
Yeah.
People are just, it like
People are
doesn't even matter.
triggered. Yeah.
Everybody is fucking triggered. It doesn't matter if you're fat, you're skinny, whatever you are. If you want to, play the victim card, you're going to play the victim card, even if
Absolutely.
nobody is talking to you.
Exactly. That's why this year in particular, I started this last year, but fucking cancel me. I don't care. I'm gonna say what I think and how I want to say it, and if I get canceled, then so be it.
I
Because
actually thought I
yeah,
actually thought I was getting canceled.
um,
I was getting canceled this like past summer, and a lot of my feed stuff like was going up and then not doing anything. And I did this low ticket offer with Brock Johnson
uh,
a week and a half ago, and
yeah,
one of his and I won getting to do an audit with one of his coaches. And she was like, "You have all of these banned hashtags on your profile." And I was like, "Really?" So I scrubbed them.
yeah.
And I'm like, "Okay, let's fucking go, Instagram. Let's fucking go."
Mm.
But yeah, I
Well,
think
no wonder you weren't popping up on my feed. Remember how I told
I
you?
know.
I know. Well,
Yeah,
how do they find these? That's another conversation. We'll get
that's
into
another
another day.
yeah, I'll tell you.
But yeah, no, people are triggered all the time. And honestly, I'm at a point where I do not care. My people are gonna get it,
Yeah.
and those who don't. And that's why when we were recording for my podcast, when you're like, I don't remember what the heck we were talking about, but I said body positivity, this is not the podcast for you. They know this shit
Yeah.
because I'm a plus size girl that says the body positivity community is shit as it currently is. Yeah, I don't know about the past. It probably started kind of like the feminist, where it was something really cool that got turned into fucking ridiculousness. Anyways, and I also talk about how loving yourself unconditionally is not the vibe. It is not the move.
I think loving yourself also means taking accountability and taking care
Yes,
of the different aspects of wellness. And that's something that,
totally.
we're really trying to do this season on the Dangerous Woman podcast, where,
Mm-hmm.
we're talking about physical health, mental health, social health, environment, financial health. If
All of
you are not
it.
well in an area, you got to work on it, babe. That's it. And that's okay. I think it's normal that we all have things to work on, you know, regardless of where we are at in life. And
Totally.
that's okay.
Absolutely. And if you're not working on improving an area of your life, then you're dying and you might as well just, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I can't even imagine like just being complacent. Like, I'm super psyched to be at this point in my journey where I am right now,
Mm.
but I would not be happy if I knew, yeah, this is just like the rest of your life. Like nothing's going to change
Oh
over
my
the
God, I'd
next 50
cry.
years.
I would cry for the rest of my life. Because what do you mean? And yeah, going back to real quick to your think of you have to love yourself in order to be able to change and achieve what you want. It's so true. But in my opinion, there's such a big difference between loving yourself and loving yourself unconditionally. And I don't think we should love ourselves unconditionally, in
But
my
the
opinion.
thing But like when you're saying loving yourself unconditionally and we're thinking about the body positivity community, is that,
Yeah.
well, I love myself, so I'm going to continue to eat this food even though I'm full and I don't need it.
Yeah. So in what I'm talking about is in the sense of me coming from a Mexican Hispanic background. We see a lot of enabling happening from moms to sons, from moms to daughters, protecting even though they've done some crazy ass shit. I don't know. Just whatever. When I think of loving yourself unconditionally, is you constantly allow yourself to get away with shit that you would never allow someone else to get away with. Mistreating your body, talking shit to yourself, constantly breaking promises that you make to yourself. If you were in a relationship with someone like that, you would dump them. At least I would hope you would dump them. Or would you sit there being like, well, I love them unconditionally, so I'm just gonna let them keep hurting me?
That's like some
Like,
Stockholm stuff. I mean,
mm,
I think for some people it's probably really complicated.
yeah,
And I mean, I think that's all the more reason why this isn't about, picking strength training over cardio. This
no,
isn't about eat more protein. This is about mental health and getting into
yes,
therapy and taking accountability to rewire whatever is going on in your head that's keeping you in an unhealthy situation.
yeah, yes. And something just came up for me. I was recording my business coach, she just started a podcast and she said something that was like, if it was meant to be, it's up to me. And I just thought that was so, so powerful. Because then if you get into like the spiritual community and you're like, if it's meant to be, it's gonna happen. If you get into the hustle community, well, there's no such thing as meant to be. You either go and get it and do it, or you. I felt like this phrase really combined both. And so when it comes to mental health, you can't just sit around and hope that it's going to get better. Get your ass into therapy. Get your ass into the gym because gym is a therapy. Movement is therapy, and I'm learning to love that part of it. And I look forward to Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Like, you have no idea because I'm like, that is my sanctuary. That is when I'm like solely focused on feeling strong and getting my energy. And I've never felt like that about the gym.
I think
So,
that's really cool.
yeah, it's amazing. You've made this journey easy, and I've allowed it to be easy. So,
Hmm.
it's a two-way street. And I think people forget that.
And I think it has to be, and that's why
Hmm.
I think, again, it goes back to you being able to move forward. So much of it comes down to the mental, having that growth mindset, being willing to do work, choosing to do things differently, and not
Choose.
letting your circumstances or your past dictate that this is going to be my future. You have to make a choice. You
Absolutely.
have to choose. You have to choose health, physical, mental, all of the things. Nobody's going to change anything. You have to choose it for yourself.
Absolutely. And it's your responsibility at the end of the day, whether you do it or not. No one's going to tell you it's a wrong or right answer. Only you know what's right and wrong for you at the end of the day. And it's your choice, like you said. And Kyle and I always talk about this, especially recently. I'm like, he loves food. When I tell you he loves food, this man loves food. It's a whole fucking experience for him.
I love that.
Same. It's phenomenal. And we love cooking together. So it's such a fun thing. But we were talking about how, in order to really enjoy food for a long time, movement and health has to be involved. Because, same thing, it's like, for me, one of my whole things is I love music fests.
Okay.
I love going to a good music fest and just being out there in the sun all day and the fucking mosh pit. I don't go into the mosh pit, but like around the mosh pit. Can I do that if I'm 230, 300 pounds? Absolutely not. So why am I not doing the things that are going to allow me to do things I love to do? And that's a question for the listeners too. What are you doing that's preventing you from doing stuff you like to do? And a lot of times it comes down to I'm not eating the right foods, and the right foods is, depending on what your goals are, I would assume. Are you not moving your body enough? Are you not healthy enough? Because I can guarantee you, if the word fat triggers you, you're probably also missing out on a bunch of things you love to do. And the whole claim of airplane seats should be bigger and theme park ride seats should be bigger. No, they fucking should not. Like, if you want to do those things, make it a priority to be able to do those things. I don't know. It's a whole thing that these conversations are always in my head with myself. Because I'm like, I could be pissed off at the world of, I don't fit into the cute clothes that I want to wear, or I could do something about it.
And you are. And that's something that I think is really incredible about you, Ruby. And I would love, as we get ready to wrap up the episode, what has allowed you to make that choice?
I got super clear on my mission in this world, at least my current mission. And that is really to impact the world in a way that I help women share their story, take it to the world, make an impact, build a legacy through their story. And the only way I'm capable of doing that is by getting healthy, is by feeling good in the clothes I put on and going on a stage or going on a podcast and talking about it, reminding women that they have the power to impact the world. But I have to go first, and I get to go first. And like, I could sit here and talk about how the body positivity community isn't shit, but if I wasn't like actively working out, then there's some contradiction and there's something that's not in alignment there. So really I had to have a really hard conversation with myself mid last year of, do I want this or do I not? Do I want to live the life and achieve the life I desire? Or am I happy where I'm at? And I made both options be okay. One wasn't better than the other. It was just a, what do you want? Do you want this or do you want this? And choosing it and being like, this is my choice and this is what I'm gonna actively every single day wake up and do. Because I was so tired of being in that middle that I constantly told my clients and the women that I talked to stop being in, that I was like, either this or this, pick one and stick to it. There's no right or wrong thing. And for me personally, I just chose getting healthy, getting strong, getting my mental health in check, getting my financial health in check, and showing up for my business, what was important to me. And so I made that decision. And every single day, Colleen, like, how many times have I told you I wanted to tell you to reschedule so bad, but I still showed up?
Yeah.
Because every single day I wake up and choose that decision. I reaffirm the decision of, this is the impact, this is my mission, this is the choice I'm making.
I feel like really emotional listening to you saying all of that because I know it's not easy. And, you know, weight loss is a journey. And I think from my experience, building strength, if you're doing like the right stuff, you can build strength relatively quickly. Weight loss on the long run, it can take more time, especially if you have more weight to lose. And it can be so frustrating, especially in the beginning, because it feels like I'm doing all of the right things and I just don't really see a whole lot happening. But a lot is happening. And anybody who's listening to this who is just like getting frustrated because I'm trying to lose the weight and I just can't lose the weight, you can lose the weight and you can become this woman that you dream of, that you envision. You just have to be patient and you have to find the wins and celebrate the wins along the way because it's the wins that are going to help to keep you positive. And you need that positivity if you're going to stay in the game long enough to actually see that change happen. You are so capable. And the other thing that I want to say to anybody who has tried to lose weight, you have to be around people who support you. If
Mhm.
you are around a partner, a parent, a friend who is not willing to support you, and unfortunately there's a trauma bond with you guys in food and weight, it's not going to help you there. So, and if you're in a situation where it's like I can't separate from that person, you need a coach, you need somebody who can help you along the way. So in those moments when it feels like, yeah, I can skip the workout, yeah, I guess I don't, need to the protein, you're like, no, I want to take care of me now so I can become the woman that I know I'm destined to be.
I'm getting emotional now, but it's so true. It is so true. And we all have that choice. And we
Yes.
all have the option to make it happen for ourselves. And having the right community is crucial, like you said. It is so, so important. But if anyone gets anything from this episode, I hope is that my hope for them is that they choose what they want, is that they give themselves the grace and the option to be like, whether I choose to stay the same or do something different, knowing that it's okay. At the end of the day, it's just a decision, but stick to that decision firmly.
And make sure it's a decision that you want and it's not something
Yes.
that somebody else is putting on you.
Mm-hmm.
It needs to be something that you are going to feel good about in
Yeah,
the life that you get to live.
absolutely.
Ruby, do
Absolutely.
you have anything that you would like to say in regards to any of the stuff we talked about today? Kettlebells, being an adaptive athlete, being on this weight loss journey, body positivity. Any last words to our listeners?
Feel like we covered so much and took them on a journey, took ourselves on a journey. But I think The last thing I want to say is choose you. At the end of the day, when your head hits the pillow, make sure that you know you did everything possible to keep you focused on the life you want to have and the life you want to lead. That you gave yourself everything you deserve and then a little bit more. Yeah.
Thank, thank you so much. I think that's a really great note to wrap things on. For anybody who would like to follow your journey, or
Hmm.
maybe they're curious, I don't know if the listeners remember this. Ruby is the one who produces the
Oh, yeah.
Dangerous Woman podcast. So, for anybody who's curious to learn more about what she has to offer or her journey, where can our listeners find you?
Yes, so I'm on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube and everywhere as Ruby Skilton, so Rubiskilton. Or if you want to learn about podcasting and like getting your story out there, just like how Colleen does so beautifully, you can find me at Podcast and Co. I'll leave everything linked for you guys, but I'm there. And if you just want to see random shit that I do on the daily, go to TikTok, Ruby Skeleton. I post the most unhinged shit on there and it's fine. So, yeah.
Thanks for being here today, Ruby.
Thanks, Colleen. Make sure to tune into our episode on my show.
Thanks for tuning in. If this episode hit home, don't forget to leave a rating and review. Women are stronger together, so share this with a woman who you want to see rise. When we embrace positive takeaways, we level up, and when we share them, we change the world. Follow us on Instagram at the Dangerous Women Podcast and let us know what you want to hear next. And remember, dangerous women redefine wellness and the world. So be fierce, be authentic, be dangerous.